Good afternoon, Athena Nutzmann. Welcome to Canteen Talks. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so as we kind of shared before we got here, we're going to go over three phases. This first phase is kind of talking about you joining the Navy, why you joined, where you did basic training, MOS, because I'm not sure how they assign MOS in the Navy, if it's before or after when you sign it. We'll talk a little bit about that. And we'll talk a little bit about if you sustained any injuries while you were in boot camp and some of the challenges that you may have faced there. Because I know I've heard some stuff from other folks that we've interviewed, sleeping issues and things of that nature, injuries to feet, to backs, to necks, all sorts of stuff, right? So I'd love to learn a little bit about you. And over the various phases that we go through, we'll ultimately get to the point where you transition to civilian life and how you deal with the reintegration into civilian world and how you deal with your injuries that you deal with today, okay?
Sounds good.
So let's get started. I think I said it, you were in the Navy. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about what motivated you to join the Navy, what years you served, and your rank when you exited.
So I joined the Navy in 2004, and I got out. I was served 10.5 years. Got out in November 2014. I got out as a petty officer first class,
Okay.
and the reason I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life.
Okay.
There wasn't a lot of money in the house for college. So what else would I do? So I decided. I saw the recruiters walk around school, got to talking to them, and I told my dad, "Hey, I think I plan on joining the military. You can join any branch you want as long as it's not the Army or the Marines."
I was going to ask you why not the others.
Because it was 3 years after 9/11 happened.
Okay.
So it was at the time of war, and he's like, "I don't want you to join those because they were on the front lines."
Fair enough. Okay.
So I was like, "Good. I've been talking to the Navy recruiter anyways. They want to talk to you."
Very nice.
And
that's how they got you.
That's how they got me.
Okay, so you were probably what, like 17 years old?
I was, yeah,
Your parents
17.
signed for you?
I was signed in at 17. Actually, before I had parent permission to do it, and I got put into delayed entry program.
Okay.
Because I couldn't leave until I was 18.
Yes. Walk me through some of the stuff that you did during the delayed entry.
We'd meet. It was like meeting up. We did PT.
Okay.
So we'd work out and then just go over like basic military, basic military information to learn what it's going to be about once you get out there.
Okay, so let me ask you this: so when you signed up for the Navy, at which point did they give you your MOS? Because some folks got, at least from the Marine Corps side, the moment they signed. Some folks got it assigned after boot camp, or was it MOS? One of the two. So at which point did you get your MOS?
We were able to go through and see what ratings they had that we could actually go and do. And originally I signed up to be an aviation ordnance.
Okay.
And then so that's what they had signed me up for. But then they called me, I think in June, because like, hey, we heard you were bored of just being home. I was supposed to leave in September of 2004.
Okay.
That's when I was supposed to leave for boot camp. And they're like, hey, we heard you were bored. I had just graduated and I wasn't doing anything but sitting at home watching TV. They're like, if you want to change your rate to be an engineer, they're like, we can change your date and you'll leave in July.
Okay. So let me make sure I understand. So you signed up to be a ordnance person. Is that the people that kind of set up the bombs or the missiles when they're ready to?
For the aviation, yeah. For the aviation side, for the planes, yeah.
Right. Okay. Very cool. And then from an engineer standpoint, what exactly was that MOS?
It was before they had actually changed it. So originally you had the engineman, which just dealt with the diesel engines.
You dealt with the engines.
Yeah, on my very first ship, yes, because when they did change it later on through, they decided to change it to where the engineers, the ENs or the engineers would only do diesels, and the machinist maids did like the rest of the engineering stuff.
Okay, so you learned how to work diesel engines.
A little bit.
All that good stuff.
A little bit.
All right, so hey, so you signed up. You get the call, say, hey, you're bored. You want to come a little sooner than expected. You probably said, absolutely, let's go. What happened at that point? You got picked up? You went to MEPS?
Yep.
Walk me through that MEPS experience for yourself after you got picked up at home, because I'm sure it's a frightening moment.
It is, because you're away from home. You know you're not going back, and you don't know when you're going to go back.
Okay.
So a lot of stuff I don't really remember. I know it's like a whole like assembly line thing where it's like,
Okay.
okay, get you all processed. They
Sure.
just send you up in a hotel, this nice hotel down the street from MEPS and the airport.
Okay. And then from there, you spent the night there, and then you flew out.
Yeah, I think we had to get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, go
Okay.
down to our bus, and get to the airport. And that stuff is very vague. A lot of stuff I don't remember that stuff.
Hey, it
Like,
happens. You dealt with a lot more stuff that we're going to get into that probably pushed that stuff to the rear in your brain. So I get it. I
I
get
was
it.
even thinking about it watching other videos. I'm like, how did I get from the air? How did I get from the airport to arriving in Chicago? How did I get to Great Lakes? I don't remember any of that stuff. Like, it's so vague.
Well, that's a good little dovetail. Obviously, I now understand you flew into Chicago, Great Lakes Navy boot camp. Right?
Yes,
All right. How long was Navy boot camp?
2 months.
2 months. And I learned that Army and Navy boot camp, or excuse me, Army boot camp integrates both co-ed, male and female.
Yeah.
Was that same experience with the Navy?
It was co-ed, but of course, like so the females slept on one. Like we had, they called them the ships but they had all the females between there are two divisions in each one.
Okay.
So you had the females on one side, and across the hall you had the males.
Okay, cool. Yeah. But when you're out there training, you guys
We're integrated.
Training, but obviously you have your own sleeping quarters or
Yeah.
whatever and all that stuff. Okay, very cool. And then how long is Navy boot camp?
It was 2 months.
2 months of Navy boot camp.
Yeah, so I graduated, but I went in at the end of July, and I was out the end of September.
Okay, when you were originally supposed to do.
Yeah. Never thought about that. Yes, that's exactly what it was. 4 days after I turned 18, I was like, I'm out. I left.
Okay. And in terms of drill instructors, still remember them?
I only remember one of their names. I can't remember all three of them.
Okay, but you had three.
Yes.
And you remember, was that your senior or one of them?
It was one of the lower guys.
Okay.
Because I think it was 2 first classes and the chief. The chief was the one that was overcharged. I can't remember her name to save my life.
Okay. Okay, no, that's cool. Yeah, I recall myself. We had four. We had senior drill instructors, they call them, and then you had three regular drill instructors. But it was based on, I think, on the size of our platoon. So, how big was your company or your platoon that you were assigned to?
88 of us total.
88.
So 44 females, 44 males.
Okay. And when you graduated, was it still 88?
I don't recall how many we graduated with.
Was it less though?
I know there were at least a few, because I remember there was one, as we're standing there in our ranks, we had this one girl who was asthma. Was what they call it. If they didn't make it, they got asthma. Then they had to go back to a different division. She was sitting in the front.
Okay.
I guess they were trying to find a way to make her graduate with us.
Okay.
So she was sitting in the front. I know there was at least one that fell out. I don't know about the rest.
Okay. So when they fall out, it's like kind of like some of the others, you get recycled.
Yes.
And you get sent off to a different.
Yeah, for the Navy they call it asthma.
Asthma. Okay.
Yeah, so asthma was back to the next guys that are coming in.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about boot camp and let me kind of start this. What was a fear that you may have had while you were in Navy boot camp?
Oh, getting screamed at. I hate getting screamed at.
What was that like, and how often?
It was terrifying. Like when when the buses first showed up the Great Lakes, you had these guys come on the bus and start screaming at you to get off. It's like, what did I do? Like it's like the middle of the night and I'm getting screamed at. Like all I was doing was sleeping on the bus. What happened?
What did I do? That's a funny question. That crosses all our minds.
Can you think that your parents are yelling at you? You had to have done something wrong. And I'm getting yelled at by this guy. I don't even know.
Did you guys have yellow footprints or yellow lines?
I'm pretty sure we did.
Okay. Yeah, because I know for the Marine Corps people, it sticks with us. Because you get on that bus, like you said, you're getting yelled at. And get on the yellow footprints. And it sticks with you.
I'm pretty sure there were.
That's the moment where you question your decision.
It's like, what did I do? There were times, yeah, and I think you're waiting because one of the first things they have you do is you wait in line to go make your phone call home, just to let them know that you.
All right, Athena, sorry about that, a little technical difficulty.
It happens.
Okay, so you were talking about the phone call that you make home, that you make when you call home, right? Tell me a little bit about that experience. What was it like? And did you have to read a script?
Yeah, there was a script on the wall. It was really fast. It was a really quick phone call. I don't remember how long it had to last, but just enough to let our parents know, hey, we're here. Okay. We made it. I'll let you know when I can contact you again. Okay. And that was basically the end of it. Hang up and get back in line to move on to whatever the next station was.
So that's called receiving, right?
Yes.
Okay, how long was that for you?
For them, I don't remember how long receiving was. That's what we call the P days, the processing days.
Okay, P days.
And it can go up to 4 or 5 days. It just depends on how long it takes to get through. Because you have to do the medical, the dental, the clothing, your haircuts, all the.
Okay.
It was a lot of stuff.
Haircuts. I know the haircuts that we went through. Walk me through what the women that joined the service, in the Navy in particular, what was your haircut like?
I heard it was really terrible.
Okay.
So I decided to get my hair cut before I even left.
Okay, what does that mean?
My hair was cut so short, it was cut to about right here.
Okay.
So I would never have to get it cut while I was in boot camp.
Okay.
Because it would never get to my collar long enough to have to be cut.
Okay.
But what they do for the females is they would take their hair in a ponytail and just cut it while it's in the ponytail and just cut it. And so it didn't matter if it was straight. Because there was no way it was going to come out straight.
So a snip and you're off.
Yeah, they took it by the ponytail and cut it, and that was it. And on to the next.
Cut it like nice, where it's all
Oh, no, not at all. Because I remember me being one of the shortest ones in my division. I can see everyone in front of me. You can see how their hair is literally doing this.
That's funny. But don't they, based on the way you cut your hair, the length you cut your hair before you went, was there any issues with having to tie it up? Because I thought they'd make you guys tie your hair up.
If it was, when I went through, there was no, once it was too long, they cut it again.
Okay.
If it grew, they cut it again. That was it.
So no ponytail requirements?
No, we were not allowed to have ponytails.
Oh, really?
It always had to be, like after we were even out, it had to be up in a bun if it was too long.
Okay.
There was no having it down.
Okay. Understood. Fair enough. Wow, I got scared that I had malfunction. Okay, so now walk me through boot camp. You're there for 8 weeks. You had to receive or your P days. What were some of the things that you enjoyed about boot camp? Obviously, you had the yelling that you didn't like. I'm sure, like most folks, they maybe had a little bit of tinnitus because they're in your ear.
Oh, yes.
So walk me through your experience at boot camp and the things you enjoyed and if you were hurt or injured during boot camp.
I got lucky. I wasn't one of the ones to be injured in boot camp. You had the shin splints that were typical from all the running they made you do.
So you did experience shin splints?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it was like those you end up pushing through because you gotta keep going. You fall behind, they're gonna send you like asthma you back. And that's one thing no one wanted to do.
Say that word again. What was it?
Asthmode.
Asthmode. So that's equivalent to getting recycled.
Yes.
In the other branch.
Yeah.
Okay. Asthmode, and that's probably something that people dreaded.
Oh, absolutely. That's not something you want to do. I remember there was at least one. I can remember at least one male that was asthma into our division.
Okay. Oh, so you
for
guys,
something.
you guys picked them up.
We did pick somebody up.
Okay,
at least I remember at least one that we did pick up
Okay.
because I think it was medical issues. So he ended up getting pushed back to us.
Okay. Yeah. We experienced that in the Corps. Some of the other folks that I've talked to as well, they experienced that. But it's you're the first one that's called a little bit different.
Asthmode.
Asthmode.
I can't remember what it was called. And I know that those acronyms for everything. I don't remember what that acronym was.
There's an acronym, the military has it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up because that's an interesting word. But yeah, so ours was getting recycled. Okay, so you were there, you graduated. What was that experience like for yourself? You said you pushed through, right, with the shin splints, which is very common. It's a common word that you hear many vets say. We pushed through. It is what it is. We didn't want to get recycled and all that good stuff. What was your graduation like while you were out there?
That was interesting. There was a lot of divisions that graduated at the same time you do.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was like there was a whole. I don't remember how many, but you walk into like this huge, kind of like a hangar, and you walk in. There's just lines of divisions all the way across, and we're down. I would say we were down towards the end.
Okay. You know what I did want to ask you if I can go back just a little bit. I would take it you guys and gals, don't mean to differentiate or be wrong about that, but you guys trained in utility boots and things of that nature
Yeah.
as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I actually call them. Utilities was the shirt, the blue shirt, blue pants. That was our utilities.
Okay.
Before they got rid of those, because now I believe they're the blue camos that they do it. That's what they use. That's what they're doing it now. For us, we were in, it was a light blue utility shirt, the button up, and they look like Dickies. We'll say that's what they look like blue Dickies, and then the utility boots.
And so you had the standard. They weren't the all leathers that like you were wearing
No, they were. Yeah, they were all the other
so
ones.
you had all leather, and you had so we had two different pairs. Utility boots, which were like mesh on the side, and then we had the all leather.
Oh, we couldn't. Those they wouldn't let us. They technically weren't supposed to wear the mesh ones, especially on board the ship, because if there's a fire, they're gonna melt.
Ah.
So they wanted you in the all leather ones, but we just call them utility boots. That's what they look like.
Okay. And any feet issues that you may have dealt with those? Because at all?
Oh, on the side of my foot, you feel the pain like from because they don't make them in like a wide width, so it like, squeezes your foot.
Okay, okay.
That was like the main issues I had with them.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think as to what, other than the running, what may have triggered some of the shin splints, right? I'm
Just
always
the
curious.
impact too, just that impact.
Yeah, I'm always curious to want to learn because it's a common thing that I hear with our shin splints. Some of the folks that I interviewed, they talk about they give us go fasters for PT. Those are the running shoes. They're supposed to make us
I
go
don't know. I
faster.
don't know what our running shoes were called, but I'm like they definitely weren't like the best quality.
But they didn't have they had flat sole inside. They didn't have like buckle soles or anything to take care of the heels. So there was a lot of foot injuries that folks experienced, and as a result of those, it caused the shin splints for folks. So just my curiosity, just interested in knowing that. So, all right, Athena, I think we're kind of bringing first phase to an end, and what we'll do is we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back and kind of talk a little bit about when you transitioned to your MOS school. What was that like? Where it was at? Because it's still in Great Lakes. Well, more to come, right? We'll learn about that. And then when you transition to the fleet, and if you got sent out on any special orders or any orders for combat and things of that nature, we'll talk about that and go a little deeper into some of the stuff that you may have faced. And then we'll go into phase 3 afterwards, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you for your time.